Oh, good morning. It's a new year, new music, and it's time for resolutions. We're going to talk about that today. Let's talk in depth about the resolutions that you've set in the past. And is there any really creative ones that people have come up with this year? Let's talk about that today. Good morning. I'm your host, Monica Adams. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. It is a new year, and it's time for you to wake up this way on a regular basis instead of turning the news on. Now, we are going to talk about what the whole world's talking about today. However, we're going to also sprinkle in hope and light and inspiration and give you a reason and a purpose for your life. So, today, by the way, is National Personal Trainer Appreciation Day. Yes, I'll talk about some other things, but it's the day that trainers say, okay, we've gotten beyond the initial day of it's Happy New Year, it's January 1st, it's time for New Year's resolutions. But personal trainers need to appreciate the fact that clients are trying better and that each year it's a possibility that this one sticks, right? That's at least our hope. It may not happen in the past, but this is a year that many people feel like, okay, maybe this is my year. This is the time for me to finally make it happen. I hope so. So, yes, 2025, it's here. Are you ready for it? Are you excited about it? I posted last night. I don't know if a lot of you had a chance to see that, but our year started off a little interesting. I'll talk a little bit about that in case you didn't see my video from last night. But welcome aboard. When you come on, if you feel so compelled and you want to shout out to the community, just saying good morning. If you want to shout out for anything that you have going on as a business, feel free. I want to help out small businesses in our area. In fact, we're going to discuss the Thursday next week, so a week from today, how we really want to help out the community. It's all hands on deck for a preview of what is to come for Heat Up St. Louis, the Rise and Shine that will be on February 14th on Valentine's Day. But for a lot of you and companies, corporations, things like that, you can do pre-orders. So we're going to talk about how we as a community can help each other for those. And we're getting really, really cold, by the way. And I'm going to give you the forecast here in just a second. Getting into days ahead where people don't even have the money to afford to heat their homes. That's the scary thing. So what can we do? When I do these type of stories, it's all about getting out of our own way and saying, I have the means to be able to heat my own home. What can I do? And every dollar counts. So you're going to spend $1 and you're going to get something great in return. And that being maybe a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Yes, as a trainer, is that the healthiest? No, but hey, balance of life. Get that or give it to some of your coworkers, give it to somebody else in need. But that's what you're going to do either in advance or on the day of Valentine's Day for the huge 25th anniversary of the Heat Up St. Louis Rise and Shine, and all hands on deck, all the volunteers coming out. But we're going to do a show before that on January 9th. So we'll discuss that in just a second. So I mentioned the colder weather. Thanks to our friends over at KMOV, here are the first alert weather days. So yes, we've been very, very lucky and very blessed, but that is all getting ready to change. I mean, literally, as we mentioned the other day, you flip the calendar and suddenly it's a whole new world. Mainly snow north and a wintry mix south, transition to all snow Sunday afternoon before ending Monday morning. And KMOV says that they're going to start mapping the forecast amounts on Friday. So a lot of people, of course, always want to know what is the timing and how much can we expect? Well, we're going to be talking with our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, tomorrow as he breaks all this down and we get a little bit closer into knowing what will take place. Here's the 10-day forecast. So again, if you're heading out today, mid 40s for your high, and there is a 30% chance of light showers later this afternoon. We get down into the 20s. Tomorrow, we will see the sunshine. In fact, I looked outside. It looks like we're maybe going to have a pretty sunrise. There was this gorgeous sliver of orange in the sky. Mid 30s for tomorrow. And again, if you are out of our area, just bear with me for a second. I want to take care of our local community in Missouri and Illinois, all of those that have woke up with me for the last 30 years. And then, of course, we welcome all of you from other states and other countries away. 33 on Saturday. Again, still a little sunshine in there, but there are the days that we really need to watch. Sunday and on Monday, we're expecting, depending on where you live, snow or ice, freezing rain. 29, and look at the low, 18 on Sunday. As we get into Monday and you're heading out for the morning commute, or you may want to start making adjustments, working from home, maybe taking a day off if you can. I will not be sending my team into the office. We're going to have a Medical Monday with Dr. Richard Lehman. Will be a very powerful kickoff to 2025. Mid 20s for your high as you're dealing with the bitter cold weather, and it sounds like snow and ice. This is going to be miserable. Down to 10 on Monday night. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, only in the low to upper 20s. But look at those single digits as we go Tuesday night, Wednesday night, going into Thursday. It starts to get to 28. We're getting up a little higher, 16 for the low. On Friday, there's a chance of snow again going into next weekend. Again, pretty far out, and it is a slight chance. But going into Friday and Saturday, we're talking about upper 20s. So are you worried about the freezing rain, the snow? I was looking at meteorologists talking throughout the channels on social media, and a lot of them talking about power outages. That's the biggest thing that we used to discuss when we get bad weather, is worried about power outages, checking on those that need your help. So we're talking about elderly. If you have animals, please bring them inside. If you see an animal outside, report it. I mean, that is the biggest thing that you can do when we talk about how a community can help others in the community. You do your part by calling your local authorities and saying, hey, there's an animal outside. It's, it doesn't have access to any warmth. It's chained up, things like that. And those wonderful rescue organizations will help out with the police and hopefully give that animal a better home. All right, speaking of warmth, I mentioned this a little. Let's go a little bit deeper into this. A live broadcast that we're doing next Thursday, January 9th. We would love to see you. If you want to come on by and say hi on the way to work or school or whatever, if the kids are heading back yet, join us at the Hardee's on 44 in Hampton. Every biscuit gives warmth. Again, this is literally a win-win for you and for our entire community. So January, they're doing pre-orders only online. It's the Hardee's Rise and Shine for heat. $1 each. Again, you can get a sausage or egg biscuit and order as many as you wish, and do the online pre-orders, again, only online. 100% of the proceeds benefit the Illinois and the Missouri charities of Heat Up St. Louis. So the big day for the all hands on deck volunteers, again, is coming up on Valentine's Day. So if you don't do your pre-orders, then mark it on the calendar on February 14th for you to go and get breakfast for everybody at the office, and then you help those in need. Again, can you believe it's 25 years? Heatupstlouis.org. Again, covering our two bigger states where I'm broadcasting here, Illinois and Missouri. They've been helping the needy with education, advocacy, utility assistance. It's also the 25th year of working with the Hardee's brand. And this coming 2025, the general co-chairs will be Missouri's Governor Mike Kehoe, Congressman Wesley Bell, and St. Clair County Chair Mark Kern. Pre-orders, okay, let's listen to this. Some companies, groups, or organizations annually pre-order online during all of January and through February 13th. So right now through February 13th, again, go to heatupstlouis.org to fill out an electronic pre-order form, click submit, and within 24 hours, you can pick up the sausage biscuits or egg biscuits of a $20 order or more. So we'll be talking a lot about them over the next few days as we lead into our broadcast coming up on January 9th. So I'd love to see you. Have you ever taken part in that? We did. I got introduced to Heat Up St. Louis when I was at Fox 2 here locally in St. Louis. We would regularly help out. We would regularly have Gentry Trotter on with us. And then our general manager would always come back with all of these sausage and egg biscuits or cheese biscuits, whatever. And it was always a fun day. And then a lot of volunteerism taking place as well. They need volunteers. So go to the website for that as well if you want to sign up and be a volunteer to help them out. That's what we do as a community, right? We really show up. So please think about that as you are looking into Valentine's Day. I mean, what better way to show love, right? At 7:10, let me say hi to everybody. Sean Fitzgerald says, good morning, everyone. Julie Fabian, good morning. Sean says, go Buckeyes. We're going to talk about the Sugar Bowl in just a second. But yeah, go Buckeyes, Rose Bowl champs, if you didn't see that. Julie, good morning, everyone. Happy 2025 to you. Monica, saw what happened to you in gym. Okay, let's talk about that in just a second. Last night, oh wow, a deer ran into my son out of nowhere, took out the whole front end. Oh, Rose, I am so sorry. Understanding not a great beginning for the new year for him either. I was actually a little worried as our friends were following us home because I saw 2 or 3 deer on this windy road that we have coming back to our house. I was afraid that they or we were going to hit that as well. Yes, watch out for them. And it's going to be really difficult as we get into the snow and the ice that's coming. Hopefully they'll stay off the roads, but you got to be careful out there. Again, I'm going to tell you the story if you didn't see it, but be aware. And I just don't understand how this woman didn't see us last night. It's crazy. Linda Eckert, excuse me. Good morning, everyone. Michelle is up and moderating for you, dropping everything you need to know. We just talked all about the Heat Up St. Louis. So she dropped information in for you to join us again. On that day, she will put on there for you if you want any information about Heat Up St. Louis and the Rise and Shine. Okay, we'll talk about that story, by the way, in just a second. And start thinking about your New Year's resolutions on this National Personal Trainer Appreciation Day. Are you heading off to the gym? Did you go yesterday? Are you going to make it stick this year, though, instead of 4, 5, 6 weeks into the year and then gone? I'm telling you, gyms love newbies because they see all this cash coming in. They have you book a lot of times for the entire year. They have gotten a little bit better. I'm going to give them credit for that. But now it's like month to month and they don't have all these fees. Hopefully they're still wiping away activation fees because that's where they really get you. But this year I'm hoping that it does stick for you, and that they don't take all of your money and that you don't show up. That's the thing that I always hated. So yes, National Personal Trainer Awareness Day. I guess I should say it that way. Well, the funny thing is, hand in hand with that is National Buffet Day, National Cream Puff Day, National Science Fiction Day. So those are the nationals taking place today. But you've got this buffet day, and then go to your trainer. I've got a client coming to the house in just a little over an hour, so you can tell that she's all hands on deck and all ready to go. Saying it's 2025. I want this to be my year. Way to go for all of you. That's what I hope happens. I hope it works. Good morning, Kathy Anselmo's over on Instagram, or was. We've got multiple platforms for you if you are new to the show: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, Rumble, and YouTube. I said YouTube, sorry. Instagram, Rumble, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So I asked this back in 2024, is there a platform that we're not on? Okay. A lot of people say, well, what about a podcast? We do have an audio podcast that drops on Thursday. So today you get a double dose. You can have the talk show, and then at 8 a.m. you get a chance to listen to our podcast. And I hope you do so, because Hannah's behind the scenes editing all that up for you. And you can take whatever audio podcast platform that you want to listen to. If it's Apple, if it's Spotify, whatever. Yes, we do drop that for you so that you can do your exercising and have some inspiration. People like to listen to podcasts and be inspired. Sometimes you may have seen these shows, but you want to listen to them a little bit more in depth, receive the message in a different way, or it's the first time you've ever had a chance to hear it. There's a lot of shows. So if you're new and you just found us, you can go back and listen to or watch all of these 400 plus shows that impact your life. Somebody asked me yesterday, Monica, when is your 500th show? What's the date? What's the month? Well, most likely March. The exact date, we don't know just yet, because we are busy behind the scenes trying to figure out where we're going to do that, because we've been celebrating every 100 shows. And again, thank you to one of our viewers, Carrie Samuelson, who said, do you know that you had 100 shows and it already went and passed? Now celebrate every 100. And we thought that was a good idea. And to get you involved, right? That's what we need more, is community involvement and showing up. And boy, you all do a great job of supporting those that support us. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Again, support Heat Up St. Louis. I'm going to talk about Hello Juice in just a second. And we've got some other exciting things to come that you're going to hear breaking news today about. So stand by for that. But going back for a second, when you're thinking about community involvement, it is getting out of our own way and saying, what can we do? Well, I know here is a community that the Red Cross is doing their job to help out all of those affected by the incident that happened in New Orleans. And what can we all do? Well, this picture, and I don't know who the photographer is in this, but says it all: pray. We need to pray for a world that has gone so wrong. And if you all want to chime in on any of this, that I'm sure you've watched by now. If not, it's come up on your phone, or it's been in your feed somewhere. I would be shocked if you have not heard about this. At least 15 people now dead. When I first saw the story, it was 10 yesterday. 15, at least they're saying 15. 35 injured after a man intentionally drove into the New Year's revelers in New Orleans. I will ask you this. Have any of you seen, and I do not recommend it, have any of you seen any of the videos of when it happened? I wish I hadn't. Let's just put it that way. I wish I had not seen it, because it's hard to unsee when that truck comes barreling down. It happened about 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday on Canal. If you've been to New Orleans, it's Canal and Bourbon Streets. Authorities say that the 42-year-old drove the truck through the barricades intentionally at a high speed into the crowd. Unfortunately, it came on my feed and I saw it last night. And I'm going to tell you that this is why we talk about what does the news, the consumption of news, and why, or it's like a train wreck. You can't unsee it, first of all, and then you just keep looking at it. You keep going back to it. My friend yesterday brought up a really good point that people have a tendency to become desensitized to these type of things. He made the association to like driving down the street and there's an accident. Why does everybody feel compelled to look at it and then probably cause another one in front of you when this is not this first of all doesn't serve you. Secondly, it has nothing to do with you. And as he said, good point, that if you're involved in it, you're embarrassed already and you really don't want anybody looking at you. So can we just keep driving? Because all it does is cause, again, other accidents or a backup up ahead that shouldn't be happening. People getting frustrated because you're looking, you're pumping the brakes, and then they start to speed up and try to get around you. It's all these things of, why do we look at this? So as you just heard, I did not mention the suspect that was killed by authorities because, as I've told you on the show before, that's what he wants. That's what he wanted. He wants this notoriety and to be talking about it and to see his face all over the news. You will not see his face here. After he crashed into the heavy machinery, the suspect got out of the vehicle, began shooting at responding police officers, injuring two of our officers. They're fortunately both listed in stable condition. This suspect, who authorities say was an Army veteran from Texas, was killed in the gunfire. And New Orleans police said he was attempting to take out as many people in the path as possible. Authorities are investigating possible improvised explosive devices at the scene. People were talking about the truck used in the attack having a Texas license plate, carrying an ISIS flag, according to the FBI, a handgun, an AR-style rifle, and improvised explosive devices were found inside as well. We do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted, of course, by the terrorist attack, according to the New Orleans mayor. And then later yesterday morning, the FBI announced that it was investigating it as an act of terrorism. So obviously, because of that, they postponed the Sugar Bowl and postponed it to today. So I've been keeping an eye on the changes, and it happens kind of by minute. But as of right now, this was what I saw on X, that it is planned for today. And the kickoff time has changed over the last couple of days as well as to I had originally thought I heard that it was later into the evening, but the playoff quarterfinal, the All-State Sugar Bowl, as you see on the screen, January 2nd, today at 3 o'clock our time at Caesars Superdome, again in New Orleans. So the Sugar Bowl should be taking place this afternoon at 3 p.m. Will you get a chance to watch it? If not, just look for the score later. But as we talked about, other New Year's Days betting breakdowns included Ohio State, Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Somebody mentioned earlier, again, the Rose Bowl, getting a chance to see that and seeing the outcome of that. But Sugar Bowl, I know a lot of you were probably thinking you're going to watch it yesterday, or as we did, we went to have dinner with friends and get an opportunity to go watch some of the bowl games. But obviously, as they continue the investigation, so they have it on tap today. It will be interesting. I would say if you're a big fan of college football, to keep an eye online as to whether or not that gets pushed back or it gets postponed again, because obviously your safety and the safety of others is what matters most. Do let me know this. Do you have any friends or family that were in New Orleans when this attack happened, because I was reading one report online that there was a woman here in St. Louis that said that her sister was there during the attack. Fortunately, her sister is okay, but so many people, obviously New Orleans is a fun place for so many. What I'm hoping that this doesn't affect them from a tourism standpoint, because that's what happens. Does that happen to all of you? You hear about something that happens and then suddenly it's in your brain to think association, I'm not going to that area. We know that danger is out there everywhere. We know that there's crime out there everywhere. We can't stop living, because guess what happens? You then give these, and I just want to say so many words about these kind of suspects. You give them power. And as we go into a new year, I'm hoping that you can feel love around you, that you can feel inspired, but that you have awareness. Here's the thing that I watched in one of the videos. And again, like I said, if you saw any of the videos of what happened, this was hard to watch. One of the people that I have to believe was killed in this accident was a young girl that was in the middle of the street. Two people were in front of her and she was on the phone, in the middle of the street, first of all. I understand that a lot of people wouldn't expect some car to come barreling down, but if you're in the middle of the street and you're not on a sidewalk, don't bury your head in this. Get the kids to if there's anything that we can learn, and that's the whole thing. When horrific things happen, what can we take from it and move forward and better our own lives? That's all I thought. And unfortunately, I kept going back and I was freeze framing it and looking, going, she is on the phone, isn't she? She is. She's on the phone. And while the other ones had the awareness of this speeding truck coming, she had to look up from the phone and then try to go, and the truck went right into her and others. And it was just, one of the guys was describing it, saying it was like a movie scene. Like, is this possible that this is happening? Because it just seems so unreal, right? But do you know anybody? Hopefully nobody injured and killed in that is tied to our local area. But let us know if anybody was there and any firsthand accounts that they gave. This particular woman spoke to KMOV and said that her sister was there. I'm not going to describe everything that she saw, but again, fortunately, this particular woman said she is okay. A lot of people still doing frantic searches looking for their loved ones. It's kind of like, we talk about tornadoes and other weather-related incidents that happen, and people start marking themselves safe. You're probably going to see a lot of that, safe from this terror attack that happened in New Orleans. They're also investigating another thing that happened with a Tesla explosion, and one person killed in that. And were they, connected at all? Was this suspect acting alone or tied to other organizations? I just can't believe, as we get into a new year, that this is how it started. So it could dampen your heart and dampen your spirit. So I'm going to take a break and I'm going to ask you, when you hear things like this, what do you do with the information? How do you come out of it? How do you resolve, as we talk about resolutions, and we're going to go now into that part. How do you resolve to not let it affect your life? We are in a time where the weather is getting colder. You look outside, no pretty green grass, no beautiful colors on the leaves, no beautiful blooms. So how do you make yourself happy? I have helped people in life coaching for decades talking about seasonal affective disorder. And please, when someone says that they suffer from that, don't dismiss it, because it's a real thing. So if you're dealing with that, what do you do to surround yourself with others to make yourself and others around you happier, to not dampen the spirit, but to lift it up? And is there an accountability person? Does somebody else help you in that realm? A friend, a family member, being there for someone that you know is suffering in silence. One of the main aspects of this show is to understand that others around us might be suffering. So what do? Don't just stay in your own lane. Now, you hear me say two things here. Stay in your lane when it has to do with you're not being asked for your help, or driving, which we'll talk about in just a second. Stay in your lane and have awareness. But the other aspect is get out of your own way and know that there are others that you could help. If your life is going along great, you had a wonderful new year, but you're hearing about these people that we're dealing with or are continuing to deal with the sorrow from what happened, or maybe just watching it. And then you talk to your kids, talk to your teenagers, talk to your, college kids, and ask them, are you okay? I'm sure you're consuming this in news, or are you all talking about it? They may not turn on the television like you used to, the old school way of watching news, but they're getting alerts on their phone, or they're scrolling through. It was hard not to see it all over X, all over Facebook. people talking about it on Instagram, people crying. Rightfully so. We're human beings. It's how you consume it, though, and what you do with it that really matters. Do you allow it to affect the rest of the day? So when we talk about really hard things, it's all about the hope coming out of it. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out. And I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand. And hard not to get emotional. I
never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
Our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
Wasn't that powerful? If you haven't heard that promo in a while, or you're new to the show and you see, this is what we do. We do stories of hope, and those people have been through some really hard things. So you think about the people affected in the world right now with regards to what happened in New Orleans. If there is somebody local that was affected, please reach out to me, because I would love to have you come and sit in the blue chair and talk about what you and your family went through, and then find purpose in it. This is when people start to struggle with their faith. And by the way, we will read from Jesus Listens by Sarah Young at the end of the show. So one of the things I wanted to make sure when we launched this show is that we always ended with a devotional in some way, somehow. We used to read verses from the Bible. We can go back to some of that if you want. It's really asking you what you want with this show. What will help you each and every day wake up and say, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch, because I love what this community or Monica's guest or Monica says to help my life. So again, feel free to talk as much as you want. Drop in comments, and sometimes I miss them and then I go back and write you afterwards. But for the most part, Facebook and YouTube, those show up for me immediately. If you are watching today on my personal page, please come on over. I invite you over to the business page. And a lot of people don't know the separation of it. So there's Monica Adams, which is my business page. Monica Adams Quentin's my personal page. For all of you that are on that and have been over the years, wonderful. I'm glad, but I don't see your comments on my personal page. They don't come to me, unfortunately, in real time. I also would rather that you follow on the business page. Click follow so that you get the notification when we go live. There's a lot of people that say, well, I don't know when you go on. It's because you're probably not on my business page. Okay. Let's see. I saw a comment from Julie. I messaged John about, okay, gotcha. Wonderful. Thank you. And Rose, my nephew and his wife live in New Orleans. I contacted them to see if they were okay. He is a director of operations for restaurants in that area. Said it was horrible. What we see isn't as horrific as it actually was. A lot will come out soon. He is a native of New Orleans. He's so upset and so concerned. Absolutely. Rose, thank you for sharing that. And that's the thing, unless you're there on the scene, you never do have the complete story. It's also just like anything, depending on what network you turn on, what angle they had of the camera, what information they're being fed at that point, until you have these press conferences held by authorities. So again, on your social pages, this is going to be, as I mentioned, just like a horrific weather incident, you will see people marking themselves safe, because there are still family members that are so concerned, saying, were my loved ones in the injured? Are they still searching for others that they can't find, or they're not identified? Maybe they didn't have identification on them. It's all these things that were very difficult to cover in news, knowing that the information that we were putting out there is going to affect someone profoundly. And sometimes people are finding out or seeing somebody in these images. That's the hard thing, I think, about where we are in the world with how easy it is for people to just film everything, don't you think? I mean, I understand people feel like, hey, I have the right, I'm going to tell the story, right? Everybody thinks they're a journalist now. Every young kid and adult take the cell phone. We know how much it's affected our law enforcement. And when they're trying to do their work and you've got somebody in their face thinking that they're this backpack journalist, and here they are, putting this out immediately or live streaming. I saw so many people live streaming from that. I mean, come on, folks. You're taking I don't know. I weigh in on this for me. They probably are feeling like, well, I want to get the real story out there, but there's so much of the story that's still being pieced together, and you're just showing bodies. You're showing images to people that are scrolling on Facebook or X or whatever, and they're possibly seeing their loved one. That's what I thought was hard. Was there was a young girl that was standing over a body. Obviously, the woman was dead, and I'm thinking, if somebody sees that, that's how they're finding out. What a horrific way to find out. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to find out in a picture like that, or do you want to be called by authorities? How would you want to consume that information? These are the things that stress me out sometimes. And then I have to relax and say, okay, I got to keep going back to my faith. For you all, though, when these things happen, do you turn away from faith? I understand. I had a really great conversation with someone yesterday that said, Monica, in these times, I find it hard to understand what kind of a God would allow something like that to happen. I get that. This is when you go and explore your faith a little bit more. For any of you, that comment, what would you say to that? What would you say to someone that says, what kind of a God would allow something like that to happen? I know that's a big struggle for so many. Understand our Creator put us there. It's mankind that turned evil. That's how I say it. And I say, it's up to us. And why do you think I do these things? It's up to us as a community to flip that around. He gave us life. He breathed life into each and every one of us. What do we do with our lives? That is where I'm turning the narrative of this story. Do not be like this horrific person that took these lives and is with these horrible terrorist organizations. Exactly, Julie. She says, I pray more during these times. So do I. In fact, I found it really cathartic for me. Yesterday morning, the way I started my day is the way I want it to attach for me so much. Oh, I got to chill right now. I woke up and I didn't just pray in bed. I put my feet on the ground and turned immediately and knelt down. How many of you actually kneel? There's a Tim McGraw song that says, how does he put it? Don't let your you're praying something about your knees. So going down and praying on your knees, how important that is. And I thought about that and thought, yeah, as a little kid, you're taught to pray and you're like, okay, let's all kneel down. And you go, I was raised in Catholic church. So obviously you go and you kneel at the pews. It's the aspect of bowing down and saying, I'm laying this all out. My hard times, my strife, I'm laying it out in front of you. And to stand or to lie in bed is still great. Whatever you do, wherever your prayers are. But for me, do y'all feel that way? For me to go and go to my knees and pray just felt so much more connected. I literally got chills the entire time. I really felt like he was that right there in front of me, that I was praying to him and that I was asking for hope. And this is before any of the news got into my head about what happened in New Orleans. I had not seen that until later yesterday. Jim turned the news on, as he always does, and I see the headline. At the time, 10 people dead. And I thought, what the heck happened? Started looking through, obviously knowing that I probably still need to have some of this information because some of you are going to sign on. You want to talk about it. I don't want the whole show to be about the horrible things, but this one I have to talk about because, again, this is what the world is asking. How can this happen? It's no different than 9/11. When 9/11 happened, everybody everywhere knew where they were because, folks, this is a terror attack. Now, what I want to know is, does it affect your life in any way with the way you live, where you go, where you have your kids go? Do you not go to certain areas because of what you're hearing? Answer me those questions if you can. Again, I see about 40 of you on right now on our platforms live. When you watch later, feel free to comment to any of this that you're watching and just say, hey, Monica, I'm watching on replay or #replay. And this is what I felt from your conversation today. I want to hear from you. This is your show, and I want you to heal. I want to be here to help you do that. But yes, like Julie, I do pray more. I actually turn to my faith more because I feel very lost if I don't have that connection. Julie says, when times are really bad, I do get on my knees. I think I'm going to do it on a daily basis, though. It just feels like I don't know what it is for me. But yesterday just felt so different. So when I did get done with the show today, I'm going to hit my knees because I didn't do my prayer this morning. I got up, rushed around to get ready for the show and this entire long day that we have. But that is an immediate, that connection to prayer. And I know we'll do the devotional, so it feels like it's flowing perfectly for me. So we'll do the devotional and I will go right here in my office to my knees, pray, write in the journal. To me, it's immediate. So I've got a few things for you that you can do in the morning when we're talking about resolutions. Okay. And let's flip to that. And then we'll also have one clip from someone that wanted to talk about our generational talk. So I like to put generational talk in each week. If you want to send me a video, and I'd love for you to do so, because we used to do this. It was called user generated content. I want from all of you that watch, your kids and you alike, you can actually be in the same video if you want to, and you can listen to your kids say, I wish my mom and dad understood this about my generation. And then mom and dad coming back going, I wish my kids understood this about our generation. So if you didn't know that we started generational talk a couple of weeks ago, we did. And so far we've heard from a lot of 20-year-olds. So now I want to get a little older and we'll go all the way up and then we'll come back into the single digits, right? The kids in grade school, and then we'll go back up into teens and 20s. I want to have an opportunity for everyone to be heard. So that generational talk mixed in with resolutions. So what I wanted to provide today was this. If you haven't meditated in a while, if you haven't found clarity, if you haven't gone to church, if you haven't opened a Bible, maybe you turn back to it. Maybe it's never happened for you, but maybe that's what your life was missing. I love these devotionals that Marilyn Westenberger gave us. Jesus Listens, Jesus Calling. We have 100 Days to Freedom books. She gave me one from Sarah Young that has to do with Christmas. I can't wait to read that. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you do resolutions to read more actual physical books instead of audio. However, for a lot of people, they love to receive the message. I've never done a book on tape. Like that's what they're called, right? Or audio books. I've never done that. I like an actual book in my hand. What about you? Do you like physically holding a book, or are you one of the people? I know I have a lot of friends. My sister-in-law, she cleans houses, and she said it's the best thing for her. She will listen to audiobooks, just like people consume podcasts. Do you do that? And is that one of your resolutions? So answer me this. Is there anything really creative that you decided to put on your New Year's resolution list this year? Now, normally, the biggest resolutions are, I am resolving to eat better. I am resolving to lose weight. I am resolving to get my finances in order. I am resolving to have a better relationship, whether that be with a romantic partner, your husband, your wife, your significant other. I resolve to be a better parent, or for kids, I resolve to be better for my parents who are frustrated with me. I resolved to do better organization. That's on my list, and it already started. In fact, our interview next Tuesday is with Jennifer Williams. Boy, I hope I'm able to get out of this crazy driveway, because if not, I will probably postpone that one. I don't want to do that one I don't think. I mean, it's up to her. I wouldn't think I'd want to do that one over a link. We can if we need to. Would love to have her in studio, though. So she is the owner of St. Louis Closet Company, and we started talking in a collaboration a couple of months ago. I had my closets redone. The shift in my feeling of taking the stress out has been massive. Michelle actually and some of my friends came over and they saw the difference in who doesn't love a makeover, right? The befores and afters, that's something that I do want you to consume from a fashion standpoint, from, somebody's hair changing to makeup changing. You see the clothes the smile and the glow that they have on their face when they have this makeover. Well, the same thing happened for me with closets. It was just incredible. So Jennifer, I do hope that the weather cooperates for us to have that interview next week. Julie said, I'd like to try, like me, I'd like to try an audiobook. Again, all of you, are you an audiobook person or are you a physical? Just write down physical or audio. We can make it that quick if you want to. But I also want to know about resolutions. Which ones did you add this year? Or do you make the same ones every year? And then what I don't want is you put such pressure on yourself that you suddenly feel like a failure. Because from a coaching and counseling standpoint, that's all I hear. People say, I did it again to myself. I said I was going to eat better. I said I was going to drink more water. I said that I was going to get myself out of debt. And here I am again, and it's mounding. And I feel like I'm under a mound of rocks that are suffocating me. I'm being pushed down because I failed. And I was like, but at any point, like literally, don't wait till the next day. Right now, make the decision to do better. I had an interview on with Kasia Sitars in Canada a couple weeks back, and she and I both are in agreement from a trainer standpoint that if you're in the middle of eating this entire cake or all these cookies that are still left over from the holiday, stop immediately. If you're literally thinking, I can't stand that I'm doing this, but then you continue to eat it, it's the association of the shifting in the mind. This is a new resolution for you. Stop in the middle of it. Don't wait till the next day. Don't sabotage your entire day and feel horrible about yourself that entire day. Instead, mid chip, mid cookie, mid pie, mid excess pizza, mid gluttony of alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, whatever that consumption is, it's not serving you. Stop right now at that very given second. And then the rest of the day resolve to do better. And then the next day, make it a conscious effort for your resolution to make this a new part of your life. Less and less of the things that don't serve you, more and more of what does. Does that make sense? That's what I think can really, really help you. Janet says, I like to hold a book to read. I like to hold a book to read always. I agree. But again, I think it might be easier to, as we're going along throughout our day, somebody puts an earbud on. Please only do one. When you're out, be aware of what's around you. If you're a runner or a walker, or hiker, whatever, having them both in when you're out is not a good thing. You've got to be aware of stranger danger. You got to be aware of what's around you with cars. Again, very dangerous when you've got them both in. I know you want to be just so involved in what you're listening to, but you have to be aware on the other side. So we had a really powerful guest on earlier in 2024 that talked about her daughter who was hit. And, she was training for one of the big runs or triathlons, and unfortunately had them both in, and she was hit by a car, and now her whole life is different. And so she said, you take something horrific like that, and then what can we learn from it? Well, from what she did, she's hoping to help others understand, get out there and be active. We all want that for ourselves, but also have awareness. Linda says, I just listened to an audiobook for the first time. The narrator was really good. I think that's a big part of it, right? A lot of times people want to hear the actual author that wrote the book because you want to hear their inflection and how they wanted you to consume that book. The narrator was really good, Linda says. He was able to change his voice for characters. He did a good job keeping me into the story. The book was Demon Copperhead. Audios are great for walking and on the treadmill. They are. Please, Linda, make sure that you again, only have one earbud in. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, tell me anything else from, I want to hear, what are your New Year's resolutions? Or you know what? Do me a favor and tell me if you could just write it simply as this: none. If I see the word none, then I know that you don't do resolutions. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we can learn from all of you that it might be best to not do that, because then you won't have to deal with the failure that you have in your head. Or if you are somebody that does resolutions, do you stick to them? And if so, what do you do, by the way, to make it happen? Because there are a lot of people waiting to consume the intelligence from you of how you make your resolutions and that you actually have them stick and that you feel confident. Yep, here's another resolution. This year, I'm only making this one. I think that's the other problem. A lot of people make several all at once, and then they can't stick to them, and then they just throw their hands up in the air, and they feel like a failure at every one of them. How about one at a time? Make one thing for the entire year and focus on it. When we focus on one thing at a time, you're more apt to make it happen, more apt to be successful. When you try to do the multiple, right? People always say it's hard to multitask and you feel stress and tension from it. Well, maybe this is when you stop doing that. Think about that. All right. We'll have more of the Real Monica Adams Show, hearing from you. We've got some comments coming in. I'll get to those, and we'll hear from Sherry Anderson. She's weighing in today on our generational talk. love to be a part of your next event. I have one coming up. You saw actually in there, the paddle raising was done for Incarnate Word Academy. If you are a past student of Incarnate Word, your alumni, or your kids are there right now, I can't wait to see you this year. I will be there again. I'm also going to be involved in the St. Raphael, or the St. Raphael Archangel. That MC auctioneering will be coming up next month as well. And yes, if you want some big money raised for your event, reach out to me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and let's collaborate. Okay. We're talking about collaborations. And if you just tuned in, you missed out what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. So our next Mobile Monica, and it's a good one for you. You can come by and have breakfast with us, 7:00 in the morning at the Hardee's at 44 in Hampton, with Heat Up St. Louis Gentry Trotter. Chief Dennis Jankerson from the Fire Chief is supposed to be there. We should have some representatives from Ameren, because Ameren and Spire do wonderful work for Heat Up St. Louis as well. 25th anniversary of Rise and Shine on February 14th, Valentine's Day. They need volunteers, and you can do pre-orders of these sausage or egg biscuits. Go to heatupstlouis.org. Do that online from now until February 13th. And then the other one you see on the screen right now is coming up for our wonderful people who are making the resolution to eat better. We're doing our social media check-in, by the way. So it's time for us to, whether you, again, it's, I say time to text. What I mean by that is for you to drop in comments, for you to be really interactive. So it's that time now. I want to hear from you. This is when we used to ask for you to call in on radio shows. What are you resolving to do better? Or just tell us, no, I don't make them, and that's how I feel better about myself. Now is your time. Okay, so Hello Juice and Smoothie. I'm asking if you've been there yet, first of all. Tell me if you've been to Hello Juice and Smoothie, either location, the Grove or Kirkwood. Have you had one of those incredible things? And I do mean this. So all of us found them when we were at Fox, and we used to go and support Jen Manis and her team on a regular basis. Hello Juice and Smoothie, we're going to celebrate with them on the 23rd at 11:30. Come in and have lunch. So I'm giving you two opportunities to enjoy a little relaxed time with us. One's for breakfast on January 9th, the other January 23rd at Hello Juice. This is at 1000 South Newstead in the Grove. And we're also going to talk about what you're seeing on the screen, which is Hello Eats, something that I didn't even know that they launched. So I hear a lot of people making New Year's resolutions, wanting to meal prep, not just for themselves, but to get the kids involved in meal prepping as well. I think that is a phenomenal idea. Teach them young, or what happens many times, the kids learn so much about nutrition that they're actually teaching their mothers and fathers when they go grocery shopping, and they say, hey, we hear that you're supposed to shop the perimeter of the store. That's absolutely true, because what's in the middle is a lot of processed stuff, and that's where the candy is and all of the box things that don't have the best nutritional value. So they teach the parents that. If you are berating yourself because you have extra weight on you, again, we're trying to give yourself some grace. So what? Brush it off. It's one thing that I teach my team on a regular basis. If something happened in a commercial break and all of a sudden you stop the commercial and you're like, oh my gosh, do you beat yourself up, or do I just say, that's okay, keep going? Like, don't stay in the moment. Don't keep a black screen on that people feel like, hello. It's kind of like in radio, dead silence, is not supposed to be happening, because you turn the radio on to be inspired or to listen to music. And if that happens for too long, it's like, hello, dead air is not a good thing. For us, a black screen as you're tuning in would not be a good thing. So I just say, all right, keep going, get out of it, go to the next thing. And if you're scrambling to try to find something, try to get to it as quickly as you can. But don't stay in the moment of something that you feel you've done wrong, because then all it does is create, for the rest of the day, you going off on yourself. And what I say as a life coach and a trainer is, the moment happened, it's a teaching tool to maybe slow down a little bit, maybe be a little bit more organized. But again, it's the same thing. We're human beings, so we make mistakes. We are not perfect. We never will be. I think the sooner that you understand that and you release yourself from perfectionism, the more you start really living. Okay, I'm going to say that for you one more time. It's something I tell all of my life coaching clients on a regular basis. You will never be perfect, so release the perfectionism mentality and watch how incredible your life is from here forward. When you realize you will never, ever, ever reach perfection, you will not have the perfect marriage, you will not be the perfect parent, you will not be perfect every single day, whatever your definition of perfection is. You will not eat clean every single day. You will have a drink with friends. Hopefully it's not excess, right? We're trying to break the excessive eating, the excessive drinking, the excessive amount of drugs, being addicted. All of these things, this is where our world changes. If you know of someone that needs your help, they might push away from it initially. Don't let them go. This is when we let them go and let them just be all by themselves, that's when they consume more and more and more. They become addicted. And then we end up hearing maybe that they have passed for any of these things that they were addicted to because they felt alone. No one wants to be alone. I'm going to tell you two things here. No one wants to be alone. We are creatures that are meant to be with others, whether it's actual relationships, romantic, or it's friendships. Socialization is so important for our seniors. Socialization is important for our kids. Think about the pandemic when they were at home and they had to learn via Zoom. They couldn't be with their friends. We all want to meet friends when we're younger, right? You want to get out with them, be active. You want that, by the way, parents. Don't have them inside playing on their phones. Don't let this be the babysitter. Interact with them. Go back. I say this all the time. Go back to family dinners. Go back to the family dinner table. Find out what's going on with your kids. Be in their lives and they in yours. At the same time, okay, I'm going to say this, it goes hand in hand. Find moments of meditation for clarity. But you don't want to 24 hours a day, day after day after day, always be alone. However, I do want you to be okay with yourself. You don't need to be dependent on someone else. Don't have that dependency. You can have your independence and then want for a completion of your life of friendships and romantic partners, etc. The way those relationships work are that you're both your own person and that you blend together really well, that you complete each other. It's not a 50-50. It's 100% from you and 100% from the other person. People always say, I'm looking for 50-50. No, you're not. You're looking for 100% given by that other person, and you give it back equally. You lift each other up. You have respect for each other. You have communication for each other. These things are important. Put those things as top of the list and watch how your life changes. These are the resolutions I hope you make. For me, I will go through. My resolution was to hit my knees and pray every single day. If it didn't happen as soon as I get out of bed, which is what I'm wanting, then find it within the day. And that's for me. I also am resolving to get back to me, finding time to do my hobbies. What is on my hobby list? Going back to playing the piano. A lot of you know I was taken away from it after the car accident, and it triggers concussion symptoms. I'm hoping if I do a little at a time and not try to play for hours on end, that it can happen again. Also, dance. I've got to. Well, think about that. You listen, that's all music related, which just is a huge part of my life. So for me, it's playing the piano and dancing. And then I love to cook, but my time is so consumed with so much business wise that I got away from it. When I get back in the kitchen and do it again, I just fall in love. I used to do a lot of gourmet cooking when I was in my 20s, and I miss that. We are starting to, into 2025, continue our segment that we did last year, just a couple of weeks ago. Have you seen The Barking Baker? There are a lot of people that said that was one of their favorite segments. Trust me when I tell you that will be carried forward in 2025, because that means I will do something I love. And so it might be the Cooking Cuddler and the Barking Baker, because I like to cook probably more than I like to bake. So I called it the Cooking Cuddler the other day while I was playing around with the dogs. I wanted to do some Christmas baking, but didn't get a chance to. But I promise you, at least once a month, we will have a Barking Baker segment. And I hope it becomes a regular thing. Some fun new segments, by the way, that lend the opportunity for new sponsorships. Obviously, we can't do this show and have the team working behind the scenes if we don't have incredible sponsors. So I have so many to thank from the past year and a half, and some that we're really looking forward to coming back on. Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue should be coming back on with us in February. If you know Jessica, tell her thanks for being a part of the show and doing our positive talk time. We did that every other Thursday. We carry forward Defiance Ridge Vineyards and our Wet Your Whistle segment. Did you see yesterday's? That was a spontaneous one that we did for New Year's Day. I actually scattered that throughout the day on different platforms instead of 7 a.m. all the time, 4 p.m. all the time. I actually had it at 7 o'clock on one channel, 4 o'clock on another, 6 o'clock on another platform, and 8 o'clock in the evening on another. So you had an opportunity to see it pop up and watch it. Did we make you laugh? I hope so. And that's my hope, is that we make you laugh, we make you cry maybe, and then we make you think. We make you find your comfort area of being alone with your thoughts. Again, if you don't do it right now, I'm going to ask you, or maybe I can give you a resolution. Find 5 minutes for yourself. Maybe you increase that to 10 or 15, but put that in your calendar where all of a sudden it comes up, set an alarm to it, and it says me time. And do whatever you want with the me time. Meditate, breathe better, calm yourself down. Trust me, I mean this. There's a scientific aspect behind it. There's a neuroscience it's the neuroplasticity that goes from the brain to calming down, breathing, finding clarity, and suddenly you're like, I don't even know how my day shifted to get better. It's because that's what you did. It's because you were very focused and cognizant of what was happening at that very given moment. Linda said, I just listened to an audiobook for the first time. Oh, that was the narrator comment. Okay, I'm sorry. Audra, physical book for fiction. Love to feel the pages. Audiobook for business or nonfiction. Oh, good point. Rose, resolutions, making myself a priority. There we go. I usually put everyone first. Right there with you, Rose. My body is a temple God gave me. I have to honor him. I love to help and be there for others. But if I'm not good, how can I help others? Yes. Okay. And then Rose says she loves audio. Let's see. Sherry. Okay, Sherry, your comments getting ready to come up. 12 resolutions or goals. She says one for each month. Yep, she's just like me, where you focus on one thing at a time. Or maybe you make the entire, because some people like to pick an intentional word for the year. I like a daily intentional word, but sometimes it feels a little cluttered for people and they get a little stressed. So maybe you make it one a month or one a year. Again, you do you. So she says one for each month is what she does, and she keeps her word to herself. Don't give myself the option to fail. Love it. Linda, I'm going to continue my resolution from last year to walk every day. And you've done a great job, by the way. She walks and listens to us. Add more resistance training to my daily routine. Wonderful. Do you all want that, by the way? Do you want the motivational moments with Monica? Do you want that to be a part of 2025 a little bit more? Because I haven't given you one in a while. I just wanted to know if people were actually using them, because a lot of work gets put into the workout or wellness Wednesdays or fitness Friday. If you want those, we'll do those and we'll drop those segments in. She says, add more resistance training to her daily routine. 2024, I walked 2,081 miles, going to try to top that. I know you'll do it. I can feel the passion inside of you. Michelle's dropping a bunch in for you. Be sure to check out her moderation. Rose, she says she agrees with Julie. He must be shaking his head up there. The things that are happening. I pray every morning and on my Bible app too. Audra, resolution, laugh more. Amen. And I'm going to laugh with her. I'm meeting her this afternoon. We formed an accountability group called the Laugh Sisters. Oh, I love it. I wanted a resolution that we could carry on from somebody else. The Laugh Sisters. And we are going to comedy events once a month and laugh together. Also walk my lazy senior pups 5 times a week, even if it's just around the block, plus a few other doable resolutions. Happy New Year to you. I love that. Oh my gosh, the Laugh Sisters. Amen to that. We all need to laugh more in life. And I think that's probably, Audra was one of them that said she loved the Barking Baker. Now it makes sense because I probably made you laugh. Maybe yesterday we made you laugh, showing the goofy side of us in the Wet Your Whistle Wednesday. All right, right there. Mobile Monica, live from your business. Join us at our upcoming shows. Go to TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Click on the calendar of events so that you know where the next ones are. January 9th, January 23rd, and we're working on another one. And this is up to you, okay? So here's the question to you. I told you I had some breaking news. We are going to be live at a dance studio. What I want is to make sure that the date is the one that you're going to show up at. So we're looking at January 29th, January 30th, or January 31st. A live broadcast from a dance studio down on Park, and I don't want to butcher the name of it. It is Almost Del Ritmo Dance Company. Now, she may say it different, most likely. Almost Del Ritmo Dance Company. Her name is Carmen. She is the owner of the studio, and she is going to join me for a show on January 13th. We're going to hear the background of the love for dance. Get ready to start your dance journey. Make that a resolution to live and love and dance. So you'll hear her with me in studio again on January 13th. But then 2 weeks later, our goal is to be at her dance studio, to come for the broadcast, be there in the audience for the broadcast, and then we all stick around. I'm not going anywhere. We all stick around afterwards and we learn dance. I just told you I want to be brought back to dance. Will you be there for that? January 29th, January 30th, or 31st? Answer me that in the comments now and in the coming days. And within the next week, I want to secure which day makes the most sense. We'll be doing it in the evening. So it's whether you want a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, or a Friday night. The dogs are saying they're picking their picks for us. If you have taken lessons in the past and it failed, if you were with a partner who danced with you and you're like, oh, it's a bad association, again, wipe it away. That was in the past. Come dance with us. So go to the broadcast, and then we'll probably do the broadcast at about 5 or 5:30 in the evening. And then after that, it'll be this social dance where we learn from her, whether it's solo or whether you dance with some girlfriends or guys, or you dance with couples. I'm going to have Jim there, and we are going to take lessons together again. So come to this Mobile Monica. It'll be the end of the month, January 29th, 30th, or 31st. Weigh in, look at your calendar, get back with me, and I'm allowing this to be you. You're the one that's going to make the plans. I want you to be there for that. All right. As we wrap up here, I'm going to sprinkle in something for you to think about. Generational talk. Sherry Anderson, who owns Sheer Studios down in Chesterfield, you heard from her stylist last week. Now let's hear from Sherry.
Hi, my name is Sherry Anderson, and I'm the owner and master stylist at Sheer Studios located in Chesterfield Valley next to F45, Annie Guns, and Mary Tuttle's. So Monica asked the question about what tip or what advice you would give to bridge that gap between generational age groups. So my advice to the older generation would be give social media a chance. There's so much power in social media. You can learn a new recipe, a new trick, decorative ideas, or even reach out to family and friends if they don't live in the state or the country. Now, for the younger generation, it would be have more personal contact. Don't hide behind the camera or behind the phone or the computer. Go out there and make a friend. Have a conversation with them. Take those earbuds out, shake a hand, look them in the eyes when you're having a conversation, and even write your friend a letter in the mail. You'd be surprised the smiles you'll get back from something simple like that. But let me know if you try either. I think both are very important in today's world, and I think that's what would bridge the generational gap.
Love it. So something for two different generations that she gave us. Yes, social media all too often has this brushstroke of negativity. There's so much positivity. Look, we are able to come together thanks to social media, thanks to multiple platforms. So there, you have to look at the positive side of life. Don't hear everyone saying, I don't want to say the word don't because it's a control word. Try not to take social media just as a lump and say, there's nothing good that comes out of it. Yes, there is. There's a lot of good. And as she said, you could reach out, find out what's going on with somebody that's states or countries away. It allows us to do that. And then, yes, kids, get off the phones and be more active. Be aware of what's going on out there. Thanks, Sherry. And by the way, that's exactly how it can be done. You send me a video, and it's a simple question that I'm asking. And it is, in my generation, I wish that this generation understood this more. For me, I said in my video last night, I wish that the older generation, whether there's people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, because it can happen at any point, maybe it's even younger than that you listen to those that care around you to say, I don't think you should be behind the wheel of that car anymore. So I'm not going to go in depth into it, but I did say I'd sprinkle it in today. Go back and watch my video that I did last night. And it had to do with Jim and I just getting done with a fabulous dinner. You know, Sarah Franco with Invita Health and Wellness. Shout out to Sarah and her husband, Brandon. They had just left the restaurant. Here we are pulling out of our parking space. Jim is leaving to go down this exit. And the woman came out of her parking space and she was coming the other way, probably to go out onto the outer road. I believe that she did not have the awareness that it was an area to go in both directions, because the way she swung her car around and came up into Jim's area, Jim didn't move his car, by the way. He purposely kept his car exactly where it was when she hit him. And you can see his wheel was completely turned, like he had nowhere else that he could go. I made the comment, watch out, I think she's coming at you. And he's like, well, clearly, sure. I think he said, surely she sees me. And so he stopped and she just kept coming and literally went right into his car, and immediately it started leaking. I don't know whether it was washer fluid or what. We thought it was radiator. Fortunately, it was not. Jim was obviously very upset. That is his baby. That is pride and joy Jeep. Can't believe it happened. To me, I don't know that she should be behind the wheel. If you didn't see this big black Jeep right there, and what I did was actually walk down and I looked up and I was like, was she blinded by a light? Nope. I wish there was a camera. I kept telling her, I said, she's like, well, I didn't see it that way. And I said, ma'am, that's exactly what happened. And she's like, no, I was wondering why you guys were there. I'm like, we're there because we're leaving. I said, I don't know if you understand that this goes. She's like, oh, every Wednesday I come to visit my mom and we go to dinner, and her husband evidently follows her there, and he had just left. And I said, I don't know what to tell you, but this is exactly how it happened. So of course she'll tell her story. I hate to say her story's wrong, but it is. She clearly came right. I mean, Jim was up against, he could not get any closer to the curb to get out. And she was right there. Then she said, well, how could we have been, because our cars aren't together? And I said, yeah, you backed up after you hit us. And she's like, I don't even remember that. So that comment right there, I pay attention, really, really listen to people. And I said, yeah. I said, well, how about this? Let's shift the focus. Right away, I kept saying, I don't want to get into this argument. I just said, it's a good thing that none of us are injured. And she's like, oh, that's true. So we kept going back to softness and kindness between each other. I said, you're not injured. He's not injured. I'm not injured. This will get itself worked out. But I said, that is what happened, however. And then her husband came, and then eventually you heard her say the words, I'm sorry, which again, to me, I think is the realization of how else could this possibly have happened? So wasn't the best way to end the first day of the new year, but I'm going to choose to focus on the fact that we're all okay. And it's a material thing. The car will get fixed. I hope. They always say cars are never the same after they're in an accident, but I hope it is. There's a lot of damage, unfortunately, to both cars, but be more aware. Pay attention, folks. Sherry, love you too. Love all the hearts. Okay, we're going to wrap up the show with this. Beloved Jesus, I want to be all yours. You to wean me from other dependencies. Hey, see, I just talked about being independent and finding out accountability. You've shown me that my security rests in you alone, not in other people, not in my circumstances. Trying to depend only on you sometimes feels like walking on a tightrope. Yet I don't need to be afraid of falling because your everlasting arms are a safety net underneath me. Please help me to keep looking ahead to you, Jesus. I know that you're always before me, beckoning me on one step at a time. As I spend quiet time with you, I can almost hear you whispering, follow me, beloved. Lord, I'm convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate me from your loving presence. In your precious name, amen. Again, Jesus listens, Jesus calling, all of these wonderful books from Sarah Young. I hope you got some inspiration today. I hope there's some talking points. Maybe it makes you a little bit more introspective. Find one thing that you can focus on today to find success. I don't want you to feel like a failure. I want to take that failure mentality off of yourself. And again, the perfectionism mentality. Find something that you resolve to do a little better every single day. Or as Sherry said, find one thing to focus on each month at a time. Reach out to us if there's something that I can do to help you. Yes, I am a life coach and a personal trainer, and I would love to help you in any way that I can. So here's my email address. I want you to use that for interacting, saying, hey, Monica, here's some great guests, topics. Here's an idea for a sponsor. Here's an idea for a mobile Monica, or I'm looking for personal training, life coaching. I'd like for you to be an MC, an auctioneer. Be my design and wardrobe consultant. Our brand allows for a lot of things, and we'd love to be there for you, just as you are here for us on a daily basis. And that means the world to me. So do me a favor now, as the show is wrapping up, share, like, follow, give this to all the people that follow you so we can spread the love, the kindness of what goes on a daily basis. Tomorrow, by the way, meet us right here at 7 o'clock, wherever you're watching from. Dot Fleshman joins me and Beckett Moore. We're going to talk more about this winter storm that's coming our way into the weekend. Want to be very aware and be careful, see how it will affect our area as we go into Sunday and Monday. And then we'll talk real estate and we'll talk friendship on our Friendship Friday. Love you all so very much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of the show and interacting. And remember what I always ask you to do, because it's carrying it on year after year after year. Believe in yourself. Get rid of the perfectionism mentality. Take the weight off of yourself. Find some peace within yourself. Take care of you, and then you can take care of others by being kind. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.